Ever wonder which country saves the most in the world? It's a question that's not as simple as it might seem at first glance. To unveil the answer, we're going to plunge into the economic depths of the G7 countries. We'll dissect their earning power, spending habits, and cost of living within these nations. We're going to explore how much they stash away for a rainy day with the help of a graphical comparison, providing a clear visual of rates amongst these economic giants. We'll delve into the factors that mold these saving habits. Is it the culture or government policies that create a nation of savers? We'll also investigate where these citizens prefer to invest hard-earned savings. Do they reap a bountiful on their investments? This journey promises to be enlightening, revealing not just about the financial habits of nations, but their socio-economic fabric as well. So buckle up as we dive in and uncover which country hoards the most cash. First, we need to look at earning power across the G7 countries. Earning power is a crucial factor that influences the ability to save, and it varies significantly among the G7 nations. In the United States, the average worker earns around $56,000 per year, while in Canada the figure is slightly lower, at approximately $48,000. Crossing the Atlantic to the United Kingdom, the average income dips to around $42,000. In continental Europe, the story is somewhat different. The average German worker earns about $46,000, while in France, the figure is close to $41,000. Italy and Japan trail behind with average earnings of around $34,000 and $37,000 respectively. Of course, these are just averages. Actual earnings can be significantly higher or lower, depending on factors such as education, experience, and the specific industry or profession. But why does earning power matter when it comes to savings? Well, it's quite simple. The more you earn, the more money you potentially have to put aside after covering your living expenses. However, high earnings don't automatically translate into high savings. Other factors, such as spending habits and cost of living, also come into play. For instance, someone earning a high income in a city with a high cost of living might not be able to save as much as someone earning a lower income in an area with a lower cost of living. Similarly, a person with a high income but extravagant spending habits might end up saving less than a person with a lower income but more frugal habits. So while earning power is an important piece of the puzzle, it's not the only factor that determines how much one can save. In the following scenes, we'll delve deeper into the role of spending habits and cost of living in the ability to save. Remember, the more you earn, the more you can potentially save, but it's what you do with what you earn that ultimately determines your ability to save and grow your wealth. Now let's examine spending habits in these countries. In the heart of every country's economy lies the culture of consumer spending. Let's begin with the United States, where consumerism is deeply ingrained in society. The typical American is known for spending a significant portion of their income on consumer goods, dining, and entertainment. This leaves a smaller portion of income for saving. Across the pond in the United Kingdom, the spending habits are slightly different. Britons are known for their love of travel and dining out. However, they also put a significant portion of their income towards housing and utility bills, which can limit their ability to save. In France, the story changes again. The French are known for their love of fashion and fine dining, but they also have a strong culture of saving. They tend to allocate a generous portion of their income to savings despite their high living costs. Over in Germany, the culture is quite different. Germans are well known for their frugality and high saving rates. They spend a significant portion of their income on necessities and save a substantial part of their earnings. In Italy, spending habits are influenced by a strong culture of family and food. Italians spend a considerable portion of their income on dining and socializing, but they also save a fair amount for the future. Canada and Japan, the remaining G7 countries, also have unique spending habits. Canadians generally spend a substantial portion of their income on housing and healthcare, while the Japanese are known for their high savings rate despite their love for travel and technology. So what does this all mean? Well, it's clear that spending habits have a significant impact on the ability to save. The more a nation spends on non-essentials, the less they have left to save. Conversely, a culture of frugality can lead to higher saving rates. In essence, it's not just about how much you earn, but also about how wisely you spend. The balance between income, spending, and saving is delicate and requires careful management to ensure financial security. So, it's not just about how much you earn, but also about how wisely you spend. Next, let's consider the cost of living in each country. It's a crucial factor that often dictates how much we can put aside for a rainy day. Take a gander at Japan, for instance. It's a country known for its high cost of living, especially in cities like Tokyo. From housing to groceries, the expenses can be quite steep, leaving less room for savings. Now let's hop over the pond to the United States. While there's a vast disparity in living costs across the country, cities like New York and San Francisco are notorious for their sky-high costs. This often means that even with a generous income, the ability to save can be significantly hampered. Next stop, Italy. While the cost of living here is generally lower than in other G7 countries, taxes are relatively high. This, combined with lower average incomes, can make it difficult for Italians to save. Then there's Germany, known for its efficient public services and high-quality infrastructure. However, these come at a price, with higher taxes and living costs. Yet Germans are known for their prudent financial habits, often managing to save despite these challenges. France, on the other hand, has a high cost of living, particularly in Paris. However, government policies and a strong social security system help to offset these costs, enabling French citizens to save. In Canada, the cost of living varies across provinces. Cities like Vancouver and Toronto are expensive, but many Canadians manage to save thanks to a robust economy and high median incomes. Finally, we land in the United Kingdom, where the cost of living is high, especially in London. However, Brits have a culture of saving and investing, which helps them accumulate wealth over time. Thus, even if you earn well and spend wisely, a high cost of living can eat into your savings. It's a juggling act, balancing income, expenses, and savings, and it varies greatly from one country to another within the G7. But understanding these dynamics can provide valuable insights into global saving habits and trends. Finally, let's discuss investment returns in these countries. The journey of a saver doesn't end with stashing away funds. It's equally about making that money work for you. In the world of finance, this is accomplished through investments. But how do these investments fare in the G7 nations? In the United States, the land of Wall Street, investing in the stock market has been a long-standing tradition. The average annual return, considering the past century, hovers around 7% after inflation. That's a significant boost to any savings. Crossing the Atlantic, we reach the United Kingdom. Here, the FTSE 100, an index of the top 100 companies listed on the London Stock Exchange, has provided an average return of around 5% per annum over the last 3 decades, again after adjusting for inflation. In France, the CAC 40 index, which represents the 40 most significant values among the 100 highest market caps on the Euronext Paris, has seen an average annual return of about 4% in the past 25 years. Germany's DAX index, which stands for Deutsche Aktienindex, and represents 30 of the largest and most liquid German companies trading on the Frankfurt Exchange, has delivered an average annual return of about 8% since its inception in 1988. Japan's Nikkei 225, a price-weighted stock market index for the Tokyo Stock Exchange, has provided an average annual return of approximately 3% over the past 5 decades. Canada's S&P/TSX Composite Index, the benchmark Canadian index representing roughly 70% of the total market capitalization on the Toronto Stock Exchange, has offered an average annual return of about 6% over the last 20 years. And finally, in Italy, the FTSE/MIB, the benchmark stock market index for the Borsa Italiana, has given an average annual return of around 2% over the past 2 decades. So it's not just about saving, but also about making your savings grow. Each country provides different platforms and avenues for investment, and understanding these can help you make the most out of your savings. Now that we've considered all these factors, which G7 country saves the most? After dissecting earning power, spending habits, and cost of living, we found interesting patterns. The correlation between a nation's culture and its savings rate, the role of government policies, and the choices of investment avenues all play a part. It turns out that the country with the highest savings rate among the G7 nations is Japan. The Japanese have a culture of saving, and their government policies encourage this habit. However, when it comes to the effectiveness of their investment returns, it's a mixed bag. While some Japanese citizens have found success in their investments, others have struggled due to the low interest rate environment in the country. So, there you have it. That's the country where people save the most. But remember, it's not just about where you live, but also about how you manage your money. So, keep saving and investing wisely.